Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Wednesday, June the 10th. This is CTV News. Tonight, not playing around. Police increasingly concerned about replica guns in public places. Signed and sealed, but we still don't have all the numbers in the new teacher's contract. And good enough to eat. A Halifax baker whips up stunning sweets and picture-perfect drinks.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a major fire on a main street in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, which has heavily damaged 2 residential buildings, leaving a number of people homeless and 1 person missing. It was just after noon when crews were called to a blaze in an older structure on King Street. Despite their best efforts, the flames spread quickly to an adjacent building. The urgency of the situation heightened with fears not everyone had escaped.
Again, we do believe somebody called from the scene. It was called in as an entrapment. We are trying to track down family members before we do any other notification. We have not confirmed, though, if anybody is on scene or in scene. Fire has not been able to get in that building as of yet.
Bystanders telling CTV News the missing person is a local woman. Up to 15 local fire departments dispatched to the scene, but the massive flames and heat kept them at bay much of the afternoon. Firefighters were hosing down a 3rd building to prevent it from igniting.
I know that our chief was on scene in about 1 minute.
The town's mayor telling CTV News he had no insight into the investigation, but came to offer support.
A person unaccounted for is heartbreaking, and I'm here to speak to the friends and the residents that are concerned about that individual. Sorry, it's hard when it's your community to know that someone's missing.
She is so funny. She's got the most amazing personality.
Tina Corca works with the woman and came rushing to the scene when she learned of the fire.
She worked her butt off and never complained at work. And she was just friends with everybody. Everybody loved her.
There's no word on a cause, but police had said the fire marshal and arson investigators would be part of the probe. Streets in the area expected to remain closed well into Thursday. The Red Cross is also on scene to help displaced residents. 32-year-old woman facing arson charges tonight after an early morning fire in New Glasgow 1 week ago. Emergency crews called to a fire in a duplex on Dalcrombie Drive just after 6:30 a.m. on June the 3rd. Nobody was injured, but there was significant damage to the property. Police have now charged Shelby Matheson in the case. She will remain behind bars until her next scheduled court appearance. A home in West Hants, Nova Scotia, was destroyed by an overnight fire. This one broke out about 2:30 this morning on Highway 215 in Chevery. Nobody home at the time, but the house and surrounding outbuildings were largely leveled. Again, no one injured and no word on a cause.
Get the Maritimes top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A jury in St. John today heard from the first police officers on the scene of the double murder of 2 boys. They described what they saw that January day when they entered the apartment. CTV's Avery McCrae is covering the trial for us.
When police arrived at this building, the first sign that something was very wrong was the puddle of blood on the hallway floor outside the unit door. Body cam footage showed it took almost 30 seconds for police to open the doors as it was barricaded. Once inside, the images showed a teen's body on the floor. Video then showed officers finding the accused in the bathroom covered in blood. Constable Nick Roy testified he knew he was alive, he just wasn't responding. Footage then showed officers entering a dark room and finding the body of a young boy tucked in bed with multiple stab wounds. Constable Roy told the 14-member jury it was pretty obvious what happened. He had been killed. Officers testified Commissioner did not talk but did a lot of moaning. They later learned he had nails in his head from a nail gun as part of an unsuccessful suicide attempt. Afternoon testimony turned to former tenants of the same apartment building. Two residents, one who lived across the hall from Commissioner and another who lived beside, recalled hearing loud commotion shortly after 7 that morning. It was like someone was in pain, one testified. The two tenants who lived directly below recalled hearing what they say sounded like someone was almost being hit while they were on the floor, almost in a rhythmic fashion. One told the court he heard every thump against that floor. Commissioner has pleaded not guilty to the 2 charges of first-degree murder. We had previously reported about a 911 call one of the victims made, but today was the first time the actual audio was heard in court. You could hear a pin drop as a young voice pleaded for help. While it was played, Commissioner kept his head bowed down, only looking occasionally to the side of him to see a copy of the transcript of the call. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
An unusual warning from Halifax police today, who are sounding the alarm about fake guns. A recent trend has seen a growing number of young people carrying replica firearms into public spaces. The guns may be fake, but police warn the consequences could be very real. Here's CTV's Callum Smith.
More than 60 calls in 2026, all for fake guns, a third of the time involving youth. Halifax police are pleading to the public to help stop a concerning trend of a spike in replica firearms, especially when they're in public spaces.
Recently, we've had a call at a local restaurant where youths were involved with BB guns, pointing them at each other.
That was a Halifax area McDonald's. A 15-year-old was charged with uttering threats, possession of a weapon, 2 counts of carrying a concealed weapon, among other charges. But imitation guns and real firearms can look identical. While this is a police service pistol, this is a fake gun.
We respond to that complaint armed with a real firearm. We can't tell the difference. There's a real possibility of us going to these calls 3 times a week that somebody could end up shot and dead by the police. And that will involve an inquiry, an investigation, and, that's one of us going home knowing we shot somebody that didn't have a real gun in their hand. And we can't tell the difference.
British Columbia is introducing new laws in October banning the sale of imitation guns to youth and banning them outright from certain places people gather. Another concern is 3D printed guns. Police recently did a search in the Bedford area and found printers actively producing replica firearms. All a concern to cops, hoping awareness helps curb the problem. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Public school teachers in New Brunswick are getting wage bumps over the next 5 years, but the exact details of the new contract with the province aren't public yet. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
The new collective agreement for 7,800 New Brunswick teachers is retroactive from late March of this year to late February of 2031.
It's a 5-year contract that includes an economic increase of 14.5%, changes to the salary grid.
Premier Susan Holt says there's a recruitment bonus of 1% upon signing the agreement, with another one in 2030, along with retention bonuses for teachers who have been in the classroom starting after 15 years, with additional bonuses after 20 and 25 years.
We're very pleased with how it turned out.
New Brunswick Teachers Association President Heidi Ryder says the new contract will help with recruitment and retention.
I can point to one which would be prep time replacement. So if teachers are filling in for absent teachers, which happens fairly often and more frequently than we would like to see, they will now have that prep time replaced at a later time when a supply is available.
We heard from teachers that they need more support, that they've been experiencing burnout, that they want support in their classrooms and they want support for their work. They want more colleagues around.
While the agreement was signed today, specific questions about it were not answered, including the dollar amount budgeted for the contract. Reporters asked for a copy of the signed contract, but none was provided by deadline. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Changes are coming to the Workers' Compensation Board in Nova Scotia. The WCB is lowering the average employer rate by 15%. The reduction is meant to put money back in the local economy by helping employers grow their businesses.
Actually reduced. We continue to build the long-term sustainability needed for future generations. I want my 5 kids, your grandkids, to continue to stay in Nova Scotia and not go west. We want them to be home safe, and we want them to return home safe.
Worker benefits are also improving. In 2027, workers will have their benefits indexed to the full cost of living instead of just half of that rate. A celebrated Canadian astronaut made a quick stop in Halifax this evening.
When we got to the moon, the fact that I could see it differently than we see it from Earth was really amazing.
Artemis 2 mission specialist Jeremy Hansen was in Halifax making an appearance at the city's Discovery Center. He fielded a range of questions from young people about everything from space travel to what it's like to see the moon up close, even interpersonal relationships.
When the Artemis 2 crew is assigned, we intentionally committed to one another that we would launch as friends and we would land as friends. But we knew that was more than just words. It meant work. And so very quickly, we started asking for blocks of time as a crew to be together, to work through any frictions that we could find in our relationship.
The venue was absolutely packed this evening. In fact, officials say the tickets literally sold out 1 minute after they went on sale. Still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll spend some time with a talented maritime artist. Coming up next, though, the struggle to comply.
Getting people to work here that have French is already a problem, just getting workers.
Some managers of rural NB liquor outlets say they don't know how they'll comply with a new language order. That's next. Stay with us.
With Aaron and Peter. Our $10,000 Move It or Lose It shopping spree is back, and we want you to join us.
You only have 10 minutes to spend $10,000. Qualify tomorrow at 6.
So as you know, the 2026 FIFA World Cup begins this week with matches being played right across North America. And CTV, TSN, Crave, proud to be your home for coverage of every game during the 5-week tournament. That, however, will impact our broadcasts on certain days, and that will start tomorrow on Thursday. CTV News at 5 and 6 will be on CTV 2 tomorrow. You can go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to see a full list of dates when our programming will be impacted by the World Cup. Some managers of rural NB liquor outlets say they don't know how they will comply with a ruling to serve customers in both English and French. This is particularly difficult in predominantly Anglo regions and places where it's hard to find employees in the first place. CTV's Derek Haggett explains.
It's tourism time along the roadway that links Moncton to Fundy National Park. People from across Canada and around the world will be stopping in small, mainly English-speaking communities to gas up and buy booze. But there could be a problem for operators of NB Liquor agency stores.
There's communities like near here that don't have a lot of French speaking, and getting people to work here that have French is already a problem, just getting workers.
Last week, the province's Commissioner of Official Languages ruled NB Liquor must offer bilingual service at its agency locations. It's the result of an official complaint made by a man who says he couldn't get service in French in Saint Antoine back in 2025.
Going to gas, buy my bottle of wine, and ask for service in French. Said so nobody can speak to me in French, and the answer was we only speak English.
The owner of this store in Alma says he's not a big fan of the language ruling because finding employees, let alone French-speaking ones, is difficult. I spoke with a few Francophones today who had stopped at gas stations with agency stores located inside of them. They told me it doesn't matter to them if they're served in French or English. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Riverside, Albert, New Brunswick.
Thank you, Derek. Time for a quick little break here, but when we return, your complete maritime weather forecast. We've got another weekend on the horizon. Kaylin will tell us how it's all looking when we come back. I was going to ramble on how it's Wednesday evening, but it's actually Thursday morning now. And today started kind of warm in much of the region, but then cooled off.
Yeah, some cloud cover moved in, and we have cloudy periods for what's left of tonight around the Maritime region, and a round of showers that's going to be moving into the southwestern area of Nova Scotia. So heading into the start of the day on Thursday morning, if you're down around the Tri-County region, Digby, Yarmouth, Shelburne counties, and even up into Queens County, I do expect there will be some showers moving through, and with them a low risk of a small thunderstorm. There's also a lower chance there could be a couple of showers to pass through areas like Grand Manan, Campobello, and St. John. But by the time we make it to around noon on Thursday, those showers will have cleared away in the Maritimes over to a mix of sun and cloud. And once again, tomorrow, aside from some coastal areas, very warm to hot temperatures. And this is sort of the peak of the heat, both Wednesday and Thursday, because a little bit of a cooling trend does begin on Friday and then continues into the weekend. Let's take a look at the change in wind direction coming up for tomorrow. And actually, there really isn't that much change. Winds on Thursday around the Maritimes, for the most part, will be out of the south and southwest, with a few exceptions. For example, up around the northeastern corner of New Brunswick, there's going to be kind of a wind flowing up and into the Bay of Chaleur, and so that's going to be bringing a more easterly wind to areas like the Acadian Peninsula, Bathurst, and up towards Charlotte, Campbellton area. The winds for tomorrow, though, sustain 10 to 20 kilometers per hour with a few gusts between 20 and 40. Now, despite the cloud cover for tonight, temperatures are fairly mild. Most of the lows will be in the range of 10 to 15 degrees. Highs in the forecast for Thursday will be around the high 20s and low 30s for communities in the north of New Brunswick, 24 degrees on parts of the coastline. Fredericton with a high temperature near 31 on Thursday. Around the Bay of Fundy coastline, most communities will have high temperatures, high teens, low 20s because of that south wind. Moncton, though, up to 29. High temperatures for Prince Edward Island, mostly in the high 20s, and some communities may touch on 30 degrees. Parts of the coast around 24 to 26. In Cape Breton tomorrow, most of the high temperatures low to mid 20s, and around the north shore of Nova Scotia, the high temperatures high 20s or near 30 degrees. On the eastern shore, the high temperatures 18 to 24. It'll be 24 for the city centers Halifax and Dartmouth, 30 for Truro, and 27 for Amherst. High temperatures in the Annapolis Valley near 28 degrees, 24 at Digby. For communities on the south shore of Nova Scotia, it's 24 for Liverpool and Shelburne, 18 at Yarmouth and Barrington. In the extended forecast, an easterly wind on Friday begins to cool the Maritime region down, especially for eastern parts of the region. So eastern New Brunswick would be included in that. Some high temperatures on Friday can be brought down to the teens and low 20s. There may still be some warmer temperatures for some communities in the westernmost areas of New Brunswick, mid to high 20s. Showers in the forecast for Saturday. Isolated showers on Sunday, mostly for the northwestern corner of the province late in the day. Then a chance of showers on Monday. Then after that, a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. For Nova Scotia, in a northeast wind, temperatures begin to cool down on Friday. It does come in with a low chance of pop-up showers during the day. Showers develop as we make our way through Saturday afternoon for the province. Temperatures cooler as a result. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, but some showers expected to arrive late Sunday night and clear out through Monday morning. After that, a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday and Wednesday. And for Prince Edward Island on Friday, low chance of a shower, but temperatures cool in a northeast wind. Highs near 16 degrees. Showers in the forecast for Saturday, still a little bit on the cooler side. Then a mix of sun and cloud for Sunday. Sunday night into early Monday morning. Showers move through. Mix of sun and cloud follows for Tuesday and Wednesday. Bruce.
Okay, thank you, my friend. We'll reconvene for the wake-up weather before the end of the broadcast. In the meantime, stay with us. We'll be right back.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Robin Hindle loves all forms of art, and maybe that is why she hasn't focused on just one. From pottery to painting, she loves to see her vision come together. CTV's Emma Convey has more.
Layered with depth, detail, and storytelling, artist Robin Hindle brings cozy Christmas gatherings, family moments, and celebrations to life.
I had a frame once, a long time ago, and it was like a little bookshelf in this frame, and I thought, wow, that would be a really cool thing to put into a box.
Some of her shadow boxes take weeks, others months. Robin started making them in Victoria, BC using teacups. After moving to Nova Scotia in 2014, she transitioned to room scenes.
Here is the first one I did. It's actually quite large. It was about 20 inches wide by about 9 inches tall, and it's like a little fairy home. It's got table with a tablecloth and a bird looking in the window and dishes and stuff like that. And I loved it so much that I just wanted to keep doing them.
When she ran out of room to store them, she decided to sell them at craft markets and Scotia Handmade Treasures in Windsor.
I've done the room and the people separate.
Her creativity doesn't stop there. She's also an author and illustrator with a focus on fairies. She draws the characters, scans them into a computer, and adds color in Photoshop. She's currently working on her 4th book.
I just like being creative. I like working with my hands, and I figure writing keeps my brain working.
At 70 years old, Robin still gets the same excitement when someone loves her art just as much as she does. Emma Convey, CTV News, New Minas, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, Emma. Time for one final break tonight. Coming up, nearly too good looking to eat. We'll explain coming up just a couple of moments. First, though, your wake-up weather. Here's a look at Antigonish on this rather calm evening. Stay with us. Kaylin's Wake Up is coming up next.
Lace up your sneakers and make a move for scleroderma this June. Help support the hundreds of Atlantic Canadians living with this autoimmune disease. For details on this year's walk-run event in your community, visit makeamoveatlantic.ca.
This much I know. It's Thursday morning. And it's time for a look at the wake-up weather with Kaylin.
Yeah, time has become a little bit convoluted with our schedule.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, well, taking a look at conditions for Thursday morning, we have some showers that'll be making their way through the southwest of Nova Scotia. Partly cloudy conditions for other parts of the Maritimes. The afternoon, mostly a mix of sun and cloud. Away from the coast, some very warm to hot temperatures for tomorrow. Parts of the coastlines, the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia and the Bay of Fundy coastline of New Brunswick, a little bit more moderate when it comes to temperatures because of some onshore winds. Bruce.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, a local entrepreneur is betting on herself thanks to support from her friends and family. CTV's Brianne Foley introduces us tonight to the young business owner who makes desserts that almost look too good to eat.
I mainly focus on making sure that everything is not too sweet.
Brianna Curry decided to turn her passion for creative desserts into a side hustle.
I used to do that just for fun, for myself and for pictures. And then earlier this year I did for a friend's wedding. And people seemed to really think that I had something potential. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna quit my second job and kind of focus on this, make it more like a business. And that's how I started, and that's how I'm still starting.
Brielle Dessert Studio is a month in, and she's already made collaborations. Desserts that appeal to the eyes as well as the taste buds.
So I go with pretzels because there's like a little bit of a kick of saltiness in there, and then Rice Krispies. I make the cake pops myself, and just that's how I decided. And then also for the decor and the design and stuff, I've had inspo from other people I see online, but I'd say mainly it's from my head. I do drinks as well, non-alcoholic drinks, so depending on what they like as well. It's mostly like mocktails, and then I decorate that too, and then it's all part of the table setup.
Catering personalized joy for every occasion.
I would say like weddings, for sure I enjoy that. I really enjoy that. Just because it's a bit of a luxury to it, and I can just kind of do my thing.
She hopes to open a storefront someday. Until then, you can connect for a taste through her socials. Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
Also, this is my very first.
Thank you, Brianne. That is your late news this evening. If you joined us late or you'd like another look at anything you've seen, CTVNewsAtlantic.ca. It is always your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up extra late with us tonight. Have a good evening. We hope to see you again tomorrow.